274 FBI agents were thrown into a crowd control on January 6th against FBI standards. That failure was corrupt leadership. That failure was on corrupt leadership. Thanks to agents stepping up, the truth is coming out. Transparency, justice, accountability.
What's up, everyone? Hope you guys are having a blessed and wonderful day. You watch it on air Nick Jabba podcast here on YouTube, guys. Wow. Everybody that has been watching this entire story unfold over the years knows J6 was a ridiculous situation. I'm glad that this stuff is finally coming to light. Let's get it.
President Trump was furious over the weekend after a bombshell report came to light on Saturday, seemingly alleging the FBI had hundreds of plainclothes agents in the crowd during the January 6th Capitol riot. The president posted to Truth Social, quote, "It was just revealed that the FBI had secretly placed, against all rules, regulations, and protocols and standards, 274 FBI agents into the crowd just prior to and during the January 6th hoax. This is different from what Director Christopher Wray stated over and over again." That's right, is it? Now turns out FBI agents were at and in the January 6th protest, probably acting as agitators and insurrectionists, but certainly not as law enforcement officials. I want to know who each and every one of these so-called agents are and what they were up to on that now historic day. Trump ended it with a jab at his former FBI director, quote, Christopher Wray, the then director of the FBI, has some major explaining to do. That's two in a row. Comey and Wray got caught lying with our great country at stake. Of the gathered January 6ers. This would not be surprising at all. The protesters were largely consistent of, patriot groups and militia groups and the Proud Boys. Those organizations have FBI agents deeply embedded at them at all levels, at all times. In fact, the leader of the Proud Boys himself was an informant for the FBI. The FBI is very good at infiltrating right-wing organizations and then inducing the people in them to commit crimes so that they can then arrest them.
All right, guys. So a lot of people do not like my take on January 6th. However, that's okay. They can turn the channel. And I'm going to tell you guys something, man. January 6th, if you watch it on CNN or MSNBC, you would think there was some kind of insurrection. Now, guys, I'm going to tell you what. This is actual footage of what happened on that day. Now, the police was actually walking people through the actual Capitol.
Conspiracy theorist dressed in outlandish costume who led the violent insurrection to overthrow American democracy. For these crimes, Chansley was sentenced to nearly 4 years in prison, far more time than many violent criminals now receive. What did Jacob Chansley do to receive this punishment? To this day, there is dispute over how Chansley got into the Capitol building. But according to our review of the internal surveillance video, it is very clear what happened once he got inside.
There you go, guys.
Virtually every moment.
You have the police escorting people around. So despite what you might hear, they're walking people around the Capitol. This is crazy. Yeah, guys. So, anybody that says, oh, insurrection, guys, the police are escorting them around. I'm sorry a couple windows got broke. They're clearly walking them around.
Of his time inside the Capitol was caught on tape. The tapes show that Capitol Police never stopped Jacob Chansley. They helped him.
Right.
They acted as his tour guides. Here's video of Chansley in the Senate chamber. Capitol Police officers take him to multiple entrances and even try to open locked doors for him. We counted at least 9 officers who were within touching distance of unarmed Jacob Chansley. Not one of them even tried to slow him down. Chansley understood that Capitol Police were his allies. Video shows him giving thanks for them in a prayer on the floor of the Senate. Watch.
Thank you, Heavenly Father, for giving the inspiration needed to these police officers to allow us into the building.
Guys, so the entire situation about January 6th, it is not surprising to me that this has happened. It is not surprising to me that Cash Patel dropped that information regarding FBI agents being in the crowd, acting as agitators. This is crazy. But you know what? People are going to believe what they're going to believe, and let's see what actually happened that day.
Everybody, listen up. The police here are willing to work with us and cooperate peacefully, like our First Amendment allows. Gather more Americans under the condition that they will come and gather peacefully to discuss what needs to be done to save our country. We're not going to assault. We're going to be heard. Everybody, this must be peaceful.
This has to be peaceful. We have the right to peacefully assemble.
Hey guys, you guys let me know in the comments what you actually think about this video. You know, I enjoy watching Robbie and Lindsay go back and forth, but in this particular situation, she is out of her depths here. She has no idea what she's talking about. The January 6th situation is it's actually insane, the coverage of it. And the crazy thing is we're just getting this type of information back to where, you know, these J6 FBI reports under Christopher Wray. Yeah, let's get it.
American people in the events of January 6th. He can't justify the fact that he helped to incite a mob of violent individuals who attacked the Capitol as part of an effort to reverse and undermine the results of the 2020 election. That's what he's saying. This is what this is all about.
Well, the agents were there. I mean, the question is, were they there, as I suspect? And maybe they could have been in multiple roles, and some of them were there, again, embedded in the crowd. And then the question becomes, were they instigating people? Because it is easier, again, to arrest people once the FBI has instigated them to commit some crime. Or were they there as a response, as crowd control, which is baffling to me, but maybe the case. That's what Cash Patel is saying he was told, but I don't necessarily trust him to do a good enough job here to well, that's what they're telling you to cover themselves. Can you actually get to the bottom of that? You're right that they're not on the same page about it. Trump, Patel, Wray.
And we just can't rewrite history. And we also just can't, we know that Trump surrounds himself with loyalists. So the fact that if somebody doesn't fall in line with his message that becomes problematic. And we already know that Cash Patel, according to the latest hearing that he had on Capitol Hill, seems like he might be considering that he's losing his job soon. So he just might switch by tomorrow. We might see him saying something different. So that's concerning to me to figure out what actually happened. I'm not going to believe Cash Patel or President Trump when it
if he wanted to protect his job, though, he would have said Trump's right. We got to get to the bottom of why these agents were embedded. And what he said was, no, that's not what they were doing. So I don't know. I don't know who's right. I can't tell. But it is very interesting. It's more complicated than we were led to believe. Because I think, wasn't it Wray who had said, yeah, there were no agents there? Well, that's not true. There were agents there.
But also
Right. And you know what, guys? You guys let me know in the comments what you think about this. The J6 stuff's crazy. You definitely had the government. You had people working in what is called the deep state, working completely against what was happening with the current administration, which was Trump administration at the time. That is not false information. That's facts. Hope you guys have a blessed day. Take care. One love. What's up, guys? If you guys have hung around this long, please consider becoming a member of the Nick Driver channel here on YouTube. It's only $1.99 a month. All members have direct access to my email to send me videos that I actually can check out and put out on the members only section. You guys do not have to do that. I appreciate you guys just hanging out with me every day and commenting. But if you feel like it's something you can do, I also have t-shirts for sale underneath these videos. Every dollar helps me keep the lights on here and keep this channel moving forward. Hope you guys have a blessed day.